Hello guys, welcome to the Harvard Lab. My name is Babatunde Arowolo, and today we're going to be talking about square root of a rational perfect square. Okay, so what this means is we're going to be finding the square roots of of perfect squares, right? And we're going to have to simplify these perfect squares. So what a perfect square means is perfect square basically means a number you get from multiplying another number by itself. Okay, so let's take a look at 5 here. I already wrote something down. This is 5 to the power 2. This is 5 squared, right? So squared basically means we're going to multiply 5 twice. Okay, and so when we multiply 5 twice, that is 5 times 5, which equals 25. So the 25 that we get is a perfect square, right? Because we had to multiply 5 twice in order to get 25, right? Okay, so this 25 is the definition of a perfect square, right? So put that in the back of your head. A perfect square is a number you get when you multiply two numbers together, like that same number. Okay, so it has to be the same number. Like here, we multiply 5 by itself in order to get 25. And so to find the square root of 25, right? To find the square root of 25, in this case, 25 is a perfect square, right? So because in these questions, we're going to be working with perfect squares. So in this case, 25 is a perfect square. We know that, right? And we know that 5 had to multiply itself twice to get 25, right? So when we're being asked to find the square root of 25, that would be equals to 5 because 5 was the number that had to multiply itself twice to get a 25, right? So when we're asked to find the square root of 25, right? 25 is a perfect square. When we're asked to find the square root of 25, that will be equals to 5, right? So it's same thing in this place when we give it 7 squared equals 7 times 7, right? Because squared is multiplying the number by itself, right? And the perfect square is gotten when a number multiplies by itself, which is in this case 7 times 7, okay? And then since we multiply 7 by 7, we got 49 because when you multiply 7 by 7, that equals to 49, right? So this 49 is the perfect square in this case, right? Because we have to multiply 7 twice to get it, right? And so to find the square root of 49, we're going to go and ask ourselves, what number did we have to multiply twice to get 49? It was 7, right? So the square root of 49 will be equals to 7. Okay, so let's take a look at this question. This question says, simplify square root of 20 over 125. And be sure to write your answer in its simplest form. Okay, so in this type of question, what I want to do is I want to really know what I'm what I'm going with, what I want to really start with. Okay, so this question is asking us to answer in our simplest form. Right, so basically what simplest form means is we're gonna have to break down top and bottom part of these numbers, like say 20 and 125. We're gonna have to remove whatever is common between them and put them in the smallest form it can ever be, right? Or the simplest form in this case. We have to put in the simplest form it can ever be, and the way to do that is we have to divide the top and the bottom side by a common number. If there are no common number, that means it's already in its simplest form, right? Okay, so let's get to this question. So this is square root of 20 over 125, right? So we're going to ask ourselves, what number is divisible? Because this is the first. Some people make mistakes when they're working with this kind of stuff, right? They just go straight ahead. But what you want to do first is you're gonna ask yourself, is there any number common between the numerator and the denominator? That's the first approach you have to take. Is there any number common between the top and the bottom part? Right? If there's nothing common between them, feel free you can continue, but we have to ask ourselves first. We can't just jump straight to the quotient rule. Okay, so we'll ask ourselves, is there any number common between 20 and 125? There should be a number, right? If you're known, you can jump through, but there is one, and that number is 5, because if you take a look at 125, 5 is the last digit here, right? 5 is the last number that's here. So any property of numbers divisible by 5 is the numbers have to end with a 5 or 0. So let's say we have 70. This is automatically divisible by 5 because 0 is at the end. Let's say we have 15. This is automatically divisible by 5 because the number at the end is a 5 and a 0. So let's take a look at this. This is 125, right? And so since the number ends with a 5, should be divisible by 5, right? Okay, so we got that. And so 20 here also, 20 ends with a 0. Okay. And since a property of numbers divisible by 5 states that the number has to either end with a 5 or a 0, then we can put in 0 here. Okay, so 20 can divide 5. So sorry, 5 can divide 20 and 125 in this case, right? So we divide 5 by 20 and 5 by 125. Okay, and so when we do that, that will be equals to 4 over 25. Because we divide 20 by 5 up here, that gave us 4. And 125 by 5 here down here gives 25, right? Okay, so this is where we are now, 4 over 25, right? Let me write that down. The square root of 4 over 25. So now we're going to ask ourselves, is there any number divisible that can divide 4 and can also divide 25? Is there any number that you think can divide 4 and 25? Okay, so 5 can divide 25. But can 5 divide 4? No, I don't think so, because 4 doesn't end with a 5 or a 0, right? So there's nothing common between both of them, right? So we're good, right? So this is the simplest form it can be. So next, we can switch over to the quotient rule. And so the quotient rule is basically telling us that if we have two perfect squares, right, we can, and we're asked to divide both of them, right? All we have to do is we find the square root of the top number, in which in this case is 4, divided by the square root of the bottom number, which in this case is 25, right? So we're going to find the square root of 4 and we'll put it up here because 4 is the number at the top, and we'll find the square root of 25 and then we'll put it down here because 25 is the number at the bottom, right? And so when we find the square root of 4, we know that in order for us to get 4, right, based on what I used in the beginning, this example, right, we know in order for us to get 4, we have to multiply 2 by itself. So we have to say 2 times 2 to give us a 4, right? This is the same thing as 2 squared equals 2 times 2, which equals 4, right? So now we're asked to find the square root of 4, okay? And we know to find the square root of 4, we know that 2 had to multiply itself, right? Based on what I said in the beginning of the video, 2 had to multiply itself twice for us to get a 4. So when we're being asked to find the square root of 4, we know that will be equals to 2, right? So this is a 2, okay? Divided by square root of 25. Okay, I already gave you guys already know the gist here. I already said in the beginning, 5 squared equals 5 times 5 equals 25, right? And so 25 is a perfect square, right? And as 25 is a perfect square, right? When we're asked to find the square root of 25, right? We know that 5 had to multiply itself twice to get a 25. Okay, so that would be 2 over 5. Okay, so let's put that in. Let's check that out. 2 over 5. Check. Yeah. Okay. So let's work with another example for now. Let's check another example. Yeah, feel free to pause the video and kind of like test your knowledge on this if you want to. But if not, you can hop ahead. Let's continue. Okay, so this is 100. This is square root of 100 divided by 4, right? Okay, so we're asked to simplify this and write our answer in the simplest form possible, right? So remember, the first step that you're going to take in this question is you're going to ask yourself, what number is divisible at the top that can also divide the bottom, right? You're not going to do anything else. Just the first step, what number is divisible at the top here at 100 that can also divide 4 here at the bottom, okay? So let's go there and let's ask ourselves, okay? So this is the same thing as saying this is square root of 100 over 4. Okay, so 100 divided by 4, right? You know, 4 is a product of 2 and 2, right? And 100 has common factors of, because if you divide 100, it has common factors of 2. There's a factor of 2 again. It has 5 and it has 5, right? So 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 times 5 is 100. And so in order to do this, all you have to do is just continue finding numbers that are divisible by 100, right? It's just, yeah, just kind of find numbers that are divisible by 100, and yeah, And so let's look at this. This is, we know 2 times 2 is a factor of 100, right? And down here we have 4, right? So let them put this out. This is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5, right? And 4 is 2 times 2, right? Okay, so for us to get 4, all we have to do is just multiply 2 and 2, because that gives us a 4. Okay, so I put that down here. And so I'm going to ask myself, what is common between the top that's also common between in the bottom, right? And then if you look at this, at the top we have 2 times 2, and at the bottom we also have 2 times 2. So these two can cancel out, right? So we cancel out 2 times 2 here with this because they're the same thing, right? So when we cancel that out, that's going to be a 1 and 1 here. So we're good. Okay, so basically, this is 100 over 4 is currently 1 times 5 times 5 divided by 1. Okay? And so since we already got that, we already know that, we know 1 times anything equals the same number, right? And anything divided by 1 equals the same number. So shouldn't be a big deal. All we have to do is just multiply 1 times 5, right? So 1 times 5, we know anything multiplied by 1 is the same number. So 1 times 5 would be 5. And then 5 times 5 again will be equals to 25, right? So this is equals 25 over 1, because 1 is by itself. Then don't forget the square root. Okay, so now we can jump to the quotient rule. Okay, and so the quotient rule says we have to divide the top, we have to find the square root of the top number and the bottom number. So to do that, we say square root of 25 divided by square root of 1. Okay, and so the square root of 25, based on what I said in the beginning of the video, now for it to find the square root of a particular number, we're gonna have to check if it's a perfect square at first, and then you're gonna ask yourself, what number do I have to multiply twice to get 25? Okay, the gist is already given here. We know we have to multiply 5 twice to multiply to get a 25. Okay, so for us to find the square root of 25, we know that will be equals to 5. Okay, because 5 multiplied by 5 equals to 25. And then 1, automatically, whenever you find anything 1, if 1 to the power 5 million equals 1, 1 to the power 2 equals 1, anything that has to do with 1 is 1, right? So this case, this is 1 square root, right? The square root of 1, right? And so the square root of 1 is still 1, because 1 still remains the same. So it's 5 divided by 1, which equals 5. Okay, so let's check that out. 5. Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much for watching the video. I really hope it helped you out. And have a nice day. Yeah.